Thank you, Chairman Pappas. Mr. Cordero, we all agree that OIWP needs to build trust with employees and whistleblowers. How is OIWP rebuilding trust with the whistleblowers?
I appreciate that question. One of the key things that we've done is start engaging with stakeholders. One of the steps we've done here, for example, is our staff regularly communicate with whistleblowers about the status of their matters. We've obviously resolved a lot of backlogged cases. So these are cases where from 2017 and 2018, OAWP may not have contacted those whistleblowers at that time. And in resolving those cases, we did reach out to the whistleblowers to talk to them. Generally, we reach out to whistleblowers within 1 to 2 business days of their submission to OAWP. We conduct clarification interviews to ensure that we understand the issues before we investigate. We also have updated our website to include the web-based disclosure form that I mentioned. We've also interacted and met with several individuals on the next panel and good government groups to understand, some of their sort of thoughts on what we can do to improve and to take their feedback and actually incorporate that as we continue to improve as an organization.
One of the things I recall is that I recall some of my staff just reporting to me that the number of complaints were not credibly there was the number of complaints weren't credible. In other words, there was an extraordinarily low number of complaints being registered by whistleblowers. Does that comport with what you know?
No, I think we're seeing, at least in my mind, a growth in the number of complaints filed with OAWP. I think as people understand a little bit more about what we do and can understand a little bit, and my written testimony provides some great case examples of the work that this office has done. I think you could see an impact. Corrective action we have recommended that has been taken. I
meant to say, Mr. Cordero, when the office was having its troubles, that there were a low number of complaints, but you're seeing a rising number of whistleblower complaints now, and that might be a measure of the increased trust in the office among employees.
That's what I believe. Again, I think employees have a right to file, and they often do file with OSC and OAWP simultaneously. We work closely to avoid the duplication of efforts, but when they do file with OAWP, we simultaneously will look at the issue, and we work with OSC to mitigate a duplication of efforts. So we may look at senior leader misconduct, or we may look at one part of the allegation, OSC may look at another. But we've taken these steps and efforts to show effectively our seriousness. Each allegation we receive is reviewed in thoroughness and in its entirety and taken very seriously.
Now to another question. In 2019, Dr. Catherine Mitchell testified before the subcommittee, and our staff has stayed in contact with her. Shockingly, despite having a signed settlement agreement in hand, she is still facing issues with her situation. A large part of her frustration is that it is still unclear who is in charge of her case and who is responsible for resolving even basic administrative steps regarding her position. Mr. Cordero, what role could OAWP play in ensuring whistleblowers like Dr. Mitchell are made whole in a timely manner?
So I think we actually play a critical role at the outset, again, offering a forum for individuals to file complaints. We also hold disciplinary actions taken under 38 U.S. 714, which is an Accountability Act measure, if a whistleblower has a disclosure with OAWP or OSC. With regard to settlement agreements, as I mentioned earlier, we are deliberating within the department on ways in which we can improve how we track and confirm implementation and OAWP's role in that process.
Well, tell me a little bit about those discussions. My question was, what role could they play? So, I mean, you're having discussions. What is it that you think, what ideas are being batted around?
So, for example, under the Equal Employment Opportunity, if there's an EEO settlement agreement, Equal Employment Opportunity Settlement Agreement, the Office of Resolution Management, Diversity and Inclusion actually tracks and confirms those settlement agreements centrally within the department. So I think the discussion is whether OAWP should have that function. and if so, how it would perform the function in conjunction with the settlement authorities and with the Office of General Counsel that advises those settlement authorities.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.